Hello everyone, my name is Ryan and welcome back to the Random Opening Series, and in this episode we are on our 4-6 point count. And actually, at least the previous two games, my opponent have all played the start point on me. And also all of them have made this mistake. So actually after you attach and pull back, black should actually just jump down. And that's a much better way to protect, because when you attack on both sides, there's a lot of Aji in the corner, so that will be a big problem for black later on. And my opponent is blitzing, so this actually looks like it pretty much exactly like one of the previous games that we just played on this account. Yeah, so later on, white can invade the 3-3, and I think I'm going to do that in a bit. This Atari is definitely not Joseki. So I think I can block here once. If black plays the move, that will get more forcing moves on the outside. So that's my plan there with that. Hane is probably not the right move. Because after well, that's interesting. So basically right now, I have, I think, two options. I can Atari here and then Atari here, make black into a dumpling, but I don't think that's a good, there's no real reason why I should do that. So I should just Atari out and connect back. One important thing here is that I get an Atari in the center. So after this Atari, when I play the Tiger's Mouth, black cannot capture my two stones. So black is going to be split off. And that's going to be... Oh, hold on a second. I completely didn't see that black and Atari downwards. Ah, there's 3 liberties here. Wow, I made a big mistake now. Because black has the ladder. Oh, why didn't he connect there? Oh, this is embarrassing that I'm getting away with this. But if black just connects on the first line right just now, I would have been captured. I would have did a ladder breaker, but right now black is completely black is in complete trouble. But he didn't see that variation, so yeah, I can't believe I got away with that. I think I should really play better. Yeah, I should be playing better than I am now. Oh, that's very embarrassing. Yeah, I completely didn't anticipate black to Atari and extend inside. I'm gonna have to think about that local variation for a bit, but I think this is a good chance to do the 3-3 invasion. Because he's going to have to connect on one of these, and if he does, I'm going to have a lot of Aji. I can pretty much live in the corner if it's my turn. So that's going to be very nice. And I think I'll just do a 2-space extension. If he ignores, I can jump in. And, okay. So I guess I'll just push and block. The second line here is actually quite big. Because, it's quite big because it's eye space for both players. But now I don't think I actually need to block. If black lives like this, it's still a ko, so I'm not really worried about him living locally. And I might as well just protect this cut now and let him take back the corner, because, okay. The fight here, I think I'm letting it a little loose. But I guess the thinking here is that white doesn't really have to benefit too much from this locally. So as long as I don't let him cut my groups off, it's going to be a pretty good result for white anyway. So I can actually descend here and live in the corner, which probably he didn't see. And now he's in big trouble. So yeah, it's amazing how these like really small, just simple life and death problem. That was extremely fast. All right, I'm liking these real fast games. So let's go right into our next game. 7. That nice. That's seems like going to be okay. The super long name, but oh wait, no. This is the high I. Okay, let's do it. Welcome back to the trick or get tricked account. I think so far I haven't managed to trick anybody so far with this high I. Probably the account that I'm most worried about as well. Once we get to 5 or 7 even. So yeah, we'll definitely see how this one goes. Just like totally blitzing. I like these fast opponents because I can also just take fast wins. All right, so I extend it up, and usually black will need to push and cut when white does that. But in this time, my opponent didn't. And he also pincered again, so oh, this is actually good direction. Because I have that stone on the second line, it's not good for black to develop there, so he's blocking the correct place. And now he's gonna have to approach one of my corners. So let's see what happens when he does that. Should I do the? Oh, he's not approaching my corner. I think I'll defend. I don't want to keep leaving it. It's the biggest move now, for sure. So, so in terms of like whole board thinking, I definitely need to play here. Black has a big moil, so if I just answer some other way when black jumps up, that's going to be a very big move. So this is pretty much necessary, but wow, this seems like a good move actually. I think I need to block on this side. If I do that, he's gonna pull back, and I can't Hane, so I need to block. If he pushes, I'll just Hane and double Hane. So that should be fine. If he connects back, he's gonna have to sacrifice something. Oh, so should now.
Yoyomi now starts.
Should I now block? Yeah, I think I need to protect this side. And if he Tares and Hane's back, I'll just let him. So maybe I should have connected.
Yoyomi now starts.
Hard to say. So actually, probably black benefits slightly here. Because I played the Knight's move mainly to reduce his moil here, so I didn't really think too much about the consequences there. So I think this type of invasion, don't worry, you're not the only one. I also find it very annoying. But when that happens, it's actually, you should have the idea that you will have to capture it. That's probably the first mistake that I see for most players. If you think that you need to capture it, usually you'll end up making a mistake, and then your opponent will capture you or something like that. So don't have that in your head. Yeah, I think this is fine. I should be fine with just
9.
extending. If I capture, he's gonna actually live on the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just let him capture the corner. This is like super thick, so that's surprising. I definitely didn't expect that move. So now if I just Atari and Atari, what is he gonna do? So I was actually looking at the trade where black takes the corner and white takes the outside in Sente. But I guess in this case he's just sacrificing the whole left side, which I'm pretty happy with, I guess. Yeah, I guess there's no real reason why I shouldn't be happy. It's a huge territory. Yeah, so now he's trying to expand what's left, but now white has a huge territory on the left side. So I'm going to be very comfortable here in the Moyo fight, but he's not enclosing this, which is very weird. How is he going to enclose this when I Kosumi? Okay, I don't think this is the good direction at all. I think he really needed to fix this and then deal with whatever in the center later. Because now I just like reduce him from all directions. So black is gonna lose all. Now the center potential is pretty much non-existent because now black has a weak group, and with this weak group, you can't really build off anything. So at this point, I can just like answer everything that black tries, and I should be still ahead. This is probably unnecessary, but you know, this is like what happens when you don't think too much about your moves. Like, if I'm logical about this, I'll definitely just jump back, and white would be pretty much ahead. But now I'm starting off another fight, and if black Haunted and Atari'd, I think it'll be still pretty complicated. Just from intuition, yeah, for this stuff, like, you can read it up to a certain point, but in like 30 seconds, it's very hard to read everything out. So, and I think on average, both players are spending like 2 seconds per move. So, I think I'm setting up a very bad example. So don't play as fast as I am. Yeah. So there's this liberty race now between this white group and this black group. There's nothing too beneficial with what I did here, because even though it feels nice, but I left a lot of cutting points on my shape as well. So it's probably not a good exchange in the end. I'm surprised he's not like caring about the liberty race here. And he's just continuing the center. So I think I'm going to take this first. I'm actually thinking about the Atari here. That feels like a misclick there. I'm like making all sorts of mistakes myself. Okay. Okay, sorry guys. Next game I think I'm gonna play it more seriously. Alright. 4. Mini Chinese, alright. So Mini Chinese was a big opening, pretty much like just before the AIs. The Mini Chinese was so... Huh. He didn't defend the corner, but... Yeah, the Mini Chinese or Micro Chinese, I kind of grouped these together. I used to play it quite a lot, because it's quite a fast way for black to expand in the opening. And on the other hand, for white, it's kind of, it's... At that time, it was already considered better for white. I think most players at that point preferred white much more. I feel like I'm playing against Hirobot or something. These guys, I don't know what's up with these guys. Is it like late afternoon or something? Like too early? I don't know what's up. Like, like my opponent's not thinking, and I'm completely being affected by their playing speed. Have you guys played Hirobot on KGS? This is like the same playing speed, like immediately after you play. But Hirobot's an AI, so... This should not be happening. Okay. So I had 3 stones on each side, and my opponent's invading. So at least what I need to do is enclose white, so that white needs to make 2 eyes. And by doing so, white's going to lose a lot by making... So white obviously is forced to make all these bad exchanges. So now even if white lives, this is going to be a very good result for black. So actually, is this alive? There's a lot of Aji here, but it is alive. Yeah, I can't. If I attach here and Hane, white will connect there, so I won't be able to take away both eyes. Well, I guess the next thing to do is keep pressuring white now, and I'm going to attack this group now. Plays very quickly. I think this is a vital point. Okay, now I'm really tempted to pawn it back. But I think I should probably... yeah, I'll pawn it back. If I connect there, when he makes this later, he can actually threaten to live. But now, he's only got 1 eye, and he has to keep running. So I do have to pay attention to my own group, because probably the easiest mistake you can make is when you attack, your own group becomes weak, and eventually your opponent takes advantage of that and protects their groups based on the fact that your groups are weak. So that is something to keep in mind. So this is Sente. I didn't want to make that exchange earlier because I want to keep the Aji, but since this group is relatively weaker compared to before, I think I want to just make that exchange. So now this group should be fine, because I have pretty much eye space everywhere. He definitely shouldn't have blocked there, because now I can push through after I cut. I don't actually need to pushed down when he descends. All I have to do is turn. Okay, I'll just connect then. I thought he would cut because that would threaten my groups. So I was slightly afraid of that, but it wouldn't be too big of a deal. He really likes to make forcing moves, but really they're just kind of helping my weaknesses. Yeah, so like with these moves, I can either respond or not. It won't really make too big of a difference. Yeah, so he's like he's gonna keep invading. So this is probably a good example because a lot of my students ask me about this kind of thing. Like, if your opponent just invades you everywhere, how do you exactly deal with it? The short answer is probably to be able to consistently deal with this kind of stuff. You just have to improve your reading, because sometimes you really need to attack a group, let it escape, but sometimes you should enclose it and let it live. So that really depends on the situation. So I guess there isn't really a general rule for that. So yeah, you kind of just have to outread your opponent. So I'm making some more forcing moves because here locally I have this one eye, and I have half an eye here because I can play here in Sente. So with those moves, so with that I need another eye. I can jump out here, but it wouldn't really. I do have to be careful with that. So just to make sure that my group is fully alive, I wanted to make some more exchanges. So after all of that, now I can comfortably kill the group on the right. And after these exchanges, there's nowhere to go. So that is why I play these moves. And if white lives here, let's say white jumps here, I can still enclose it. So I can attack this group on the bottom and get another moil on the top. So all of that is kind of like this is all like preparation. Yeah, so I guess you kind of have to be aware of what's going on the board. So from my above logic, I was looking at my group, and I wanted to make sure that it's got no problems before doing something else. So that's why I continued over here. But if I just went ahead and killed it, if white had enough Aji, then he might be able to threaten my group over here. So I wanted to make sure everything is settled in terms of that stuff before playing the move. But I think he's a little too overconfident here. There's this huge weakness that he's not protecting. So this is going to be a pretty simple ladder. And he's like me, he can't read ladders. So I think this is actually a good example of something that might happen in your games. When someone likes to invade a lot, and they like to fight. I think my advice for those of you who aren't very good at dealing with this is don't be afraid of dealing with it. Because the more you deal with this kind of stuff, the better your reading becomes. So it's actually probably one of the best ways to practice your reading when you're playing online games. Is like dealing with this kind of invasion here. So this kind of thing. But I guess my logic here would be you definitely don't want white to connect back. And because white has a potential weak group on the right, I'm not really afraid of just letting white live inside and building a wall so I can attack this. And also, there's a shoulder hit, so white hasn't fully enclosed this, and if white makes black super strong here, the territory on the left would also be reduced. So there's a lot of hidden stuff that comes into play when you make a group strong, and I just like to point that out when you get into similar situations. So Alright, enough about that. Let's continue to select the next game, and it's one of the more classical openings, and it's the Kobayashi. So, Kobayashi opening, I actually have 8 wins on this account already. So this is still among the top ranks for the account that is most likely going to go to 5 Dan first. 2 space high. So at this point, it really doesn't make sense to play the extension move. So I think I'll do a double approach. Kind of just feel like it. There's nothing, no real other reason to do that. I think I'm okay with doing the 3-3 invasion now, because that stone is actually in a pretty bad place. So this is something to know. You should never block on this side. This is contrary to popular belief. This is not Joseki. This is really, really good for black. White has no territory here, and this stone can escape at any time, or sacrificed. So, yeah, this is very bad for it. For example, if I just Hane and connect, White's going to have to spend another move, so it's pretty much 0 territory. So yeah. Yeah, after this, black is way ahead already. So yeah, pretty much all 4 corners are done. It's a pretty standard opening, and I think I'm abiding by the Kobayashi rules, if that exists. So Kobayashi is very good at being very flexible during his openings, and sometimes he fights, sometimes he just lets things go. You don't really see people like that, I think, in recent years. So this is an interesting move. I'm deciding whether I should connect or I should Atari first before connecting. Does it actually make a difference? Yeah, I don't think I can tell, like, in a short amount of time, but it probably does make a difference. That's my intuition. But yeah, I don't think white should attach first, because it gives me a good excuse to actually fix my weakness. So with this, I can then come over to capture the 2 stones. I think I want to go in from the outside. If I attach in white Hanes, I'm going to have to extend, and if he pushes, that's very, very uncomfortable. So I don't think he should play here, though. He should finish the bottom and enclose the side. This move is huge. This lets me pretty much get all of the lower side. So this Atari doesn't work. So I can just enclose whatever I have here. So white pretty much switched direction from getting this moil to some potential up there, which makes this approach super big. Yeah, I think he'll probably approach there now. Okay. I guess that's gonna be similar. But when you play this 2-4 move, it makes white kind of low, so white doesn't have that much potential. So I guess I'll follow up on the top left now. All the territory is pretty much taken, but white has no corners, so I don't think I really need to count at this point. White is just behind in territory. Like this side is quite small, this is really small, so I don't think I need to count territory. I'm surprised that he actually wants the stone. I thought he would just block here and we'll end up trading. So this opens up another fight. I guess I just connect it. There's no point making things more complicated. So this move I don't necessarily need to respond to. Should I start the fight here? Why not? So I decided to... Oh, he's gonna sacrifice the side. I thought he would be more aggressive here. So that's kind of sudden. I'm not sure what's the reason for that. But I'm pretty happy with the result here. Because this side has decent potential, so what he got in the corner will pretty much be balanced out by what blocking here. And it was white's corner to begin with, so white is bound to get more than black locally. So I'm gonna finish off whatever's going on here, and if I Kosumi or something, oh, he didn't cut. That's also a little surprising. And I think I'm just going to go with a whole board move. I don't think I need to be fighting anything out at this point, because black has a lot more territory than white. I'm not sure why he's clamping now. Like, there's no more Aji to do with anything, so yeah, this move is hardly going to work. So this move is interesting. I'm actually tempted to fight this. Yeah, why not? If he just captures the 2 stones and let me capture this 1 stone, then I'm actually very happy with that trade. If he runs out, then I can just extend. And still, if he Ataris that way, that will not work. If he Ataris first, then I think I'll just capture actually. Should I? Maybe I'll extend. It's pretty simple to escape this, I guess. Wow, he's playing very fast. What should I do here? I have two options. I could either connect, or I can start the ko and Hane here. And in a tournament, I'll probably start the ko, but why not? I'll just connect. Probably should have, yeah, definitely should have Hane there first. Yeah, that's much better than letting white Hane connect, I think. Oh, actually, no. If I Hane, white can jump. I can jump here, so that doesn't really make too big of a difference. Yeah, I think it's about the same. Oh, now he's giving me a chance to Hane. But I don't think I need to.
Yoyomi now starts.
Yeah, it's actually a bad move. Because if white Hanes and connects, he's going to have to spend another move to live. So... yeah, so I actually get Sente here. Which means I can do pretty much whatever I want in the center. So I think this move is pretty big. I don't want white to Hane or Tiger's Mouth here. So now I guess we're both kind of just enclosing whatever territory there's left. So there's not too much else you can gain. I can tell from this game that my opponent is pretty good at reading. He's for his level, he's like he's a pretty high fighting spirit, and he's not afraid to attack. So yeah, this move is huge. Let me get this move. White takes this. It's such a big Sente endgame for white. So I'm gonna take the reverse Sente here. So I guess for this game, I didn't really fight too much. Pretty much just playing normally and not paying too much attention to... I guess paying more attention to bigger areas and playing in Sente mode, I guess you can call it. So I think... yeah, that's pretty much how black gained the lead in this game. And yeah, so my opponent's good at fighting, but probably his or her weak point is making judgments in the opening. Looking at the whole
8,
board.
7, 6,
so he's not really
5,
sensitive for points. For example, he didn't really
4,
play this move,
2.
and he played this move, which was really unnecessary. I think he's trying to threaten my group. I kind of want to connect here to just get his hopes down. I'm going to change that first, though. Yeah, I think connecting is pretty much Sente. This is worth points. It's not just a move to get my opponent's hopes down. So yeah, but all of this is Gote now, so I get the next move again. I really want to protect this here. So that's my reasoning behind there. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
When he Hanes,
1.
we have to play
2
Kosumi,
Yo-Yomis left.
but that is pretty much all white can gain from this Aji here. Yeah. Alright. So this is it. Pretty much this game is over because, well, all the territory is enclosed, and there's nothing left.
Nine, 8.
This is a move that you should really think twice about. This is actually minus at least 1.5 points. Yeah. Because now black can capture the stone.
9,
It's
8,
black stone.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Still thinking about this. Even if all the liveries are reduced on the outside, white would still not be able to do anything. So I'm gonna honey this way, because if he doesn't connect any blocks here, then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of Aji. Now I get another extension. Just sneakily getting away some points.
Nine, 8, 7, 6.
There's nothing too much to
5,
gain anymore,
4,
so
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna take this endgame now. Because now if white ignores, the jump in is Sente, so it's actually quite big. So after this move, I have Haning today. But yeah, I guess this is the same number of points. And now there is... I'm pretty sure my opponent didn't think before playing this move. So these moves probably have little meaning by themselves. So there is a livery race at the end, but white also lost a lot of territory in the middle. So after I get my free Sente moves, I'm probably... no, there's quite a few options. Maybe I'll just connect inside.
9, 8, 7.
Let me just
6.
extend first. This move is pretty comfortable. 3 centi move here, and I'll just connect on the inside. This move actually loses points because now I can make more points here. White isn't actually gaining liberties with additional moves in this case. There's still a very big endgame move over here. But my opponent is being very stubborn. But I guess none of this actually affects the outcome of the game, so it's not too important anymore. But they're probably not very happy with the result of this game. You can probably tell by some moves.
9, 8,
But,
7.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about this game is the fight in the lower right corner. Yeah, so this fight is interesting because it kind of just decides how the game will become. And White did have some opportunities here, probably when Black Knight. If White cut directly, that would have been, I think, the most... I think that would be the best solution. I didn't really want to extend inside because that would get me gote. I think there are still quite a few bigger endgames than spending one move to get the 2 points there. Yeah, but there. Oh, he's funny. But I think the reason why I laugh is actually because I really think that my opponent is good at judging the board. So he's definitely noticed that he's pretty behind, which is why he's trying these things. And compared to someone who just loses without a fight, you know, this is actually a very good strategy. But how late it's coming makes it kind of pointless. There's really no way you can actually do anything here against someone that's similar level as you are. So at this point, it's pretty pointless. Yeah, I don't even know what to do now. Just continue playing in game, I guess. Yeah, I think this game is interesting in the sense that, you know, it's not like there's no like huge fight. There were little fights here and there, and White didn't do very well in a lot of these fights. So in the end, that's what made White lose. I think I'm just gonna keep playing just to convince my opponent to resign now. If I keep it to Nuki, he's gonna like push and attach or something like that. So just so that he's not tempted. But there's actually nothing White can do inside.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So back to what I was saying about
3,
there
2.
being not any big fights. So yeah, with like little fights, it's actually kind of similar to pro games because you know a lot of games where you take kind of your own territory or some local result finishes and you move on to the next and next without like any huge fights that go on. You have to really be careful with the direction that you're choosing. And so I guess two main things additional to whether you're gaining locally is one, if you're getting Sente or not. If you're getting Sente, then if you lose a bit locally, then that should affect your judgment.
6, 5,
and
4,
the
3,
direction thing is also
2.
very important, especially what happened on the bottom. And yeah, so I guess I'm just kind of summarizing. Oh, I think 1 or 2 episodes ago, I asked you guys whether you'd like to see me talk over the game, and I think it was most of you guys commented that you would like to see it, provided that I give some interesting comments about what's going on. And also, one other important thing is staying calm while opponent tries these things. I think like this really has to do with experience because I play a lot of Blitz games, and in Blitz games, your opponent really automatically just does this kind of stuff. So I guess yeah, that is one aspect of it. So in the future, I will keep these parts in the episode. But if you think that you know it's pretty much the end, you can just skip over to the end and just start when I move on to the next game. So I think this is about time for this episode. Before we end, I'm just going to draw the next one. Let's hope for 0. Okay, not 0, but we did get the high I again. I do want to play one of 5 or 6 again, and I think in the poll, a lot of you guys like 5 and 6, so I'm going to hope to try to get more of these in the future. And we're well on our way, halfway for Kobayashi, and perhaps one more opening. So yeah, so we'll from that I will end the episode here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to comment or give me a like, and I will see you next week.